Well, Alfonso, it's really nice to see you again. I think the last time I saw you, gosh, was at our client conference in Sao Paulo, Brazil. And now we're working remotely together.
It's great to see you, Rodney. And you're right. Last time we saw each other, we were still in ongoing traveling places and meeting clients all across the region for you at the global level. And here we are now working from home.
And so, uh, and so that sort of brings me to the discussion. So you're an international tax partner, you're head of markets for our Latin American practices, and just thinking about how quickly things have changed. How are things changing for people in the Latin American region?
So same as it did for everybody in the world. And interesting enough, governments across the region reacted fairly quickly. You would see countries like Peru, Colombia, and Panama, which have been in lockdown, same as we did in the US for the past couple of weeks, where they have put systems in place. Interesting, as an anecdote, in Panama, you can actually exit for grocery shopping for a walk depending on the last number of your ID. So they've been on lockdown with systems across the region. So they reacted, again, not the same across the board, but fairly quickly to this situation.
Gosh, so quite a lot of change. And then I can only imagine, well, how are things happening in the supply chain area and the related transfer pricing type policies? So I can imagine that's an area where clients need to sort of be thinking about whether their current system is still fit for purpose.
That is absolutely right. They're reviewing not only the margins between related parties, but the whole supply chain, and whether this business interruptions is impacting the margins they had in place, some of the payments they had to headquarters, both in and out of Latin America. So really reviewing the overall strategy to face the new environment that is not only this pause, but actually how it's going to look like after this.
So fascinating, Alfonso. Now, so that region is huge with countries both big and small, but for our folk who are listening who are invested into the region and perhaps they're looking at optimizing cash flow to preserve liquidity, or they're dealing with unexpected losses, just as you sort of survey the scene and as you're talking to clients, what couple of pieces of advice would you have for folk as they survey their operations in the region today?
So as you know, Rodney, cash flow and management, cash pooling across Latin America is very challenging, not to say almost impossible, because of different currencies and some of the FX regulations and so forth. So what I would say, it's really time to review your restructuring. If you are restructuring from an international tax perspective, your valuations, NOLs, like you said, is now coming to play. That will impact, for example, the change of ownership in shareholders, which is something that many of our clients were already looking into because of some of the change, MLIs, etc. It's a good time to review where you wanted to be, and some of the do's and don'ts that you had based on the previous situation may have changed under the current environment.
Fascinating. And of course, that last point you just made about the multilateral instrument, just a good reminder that some of our business carries on as usual. So we can't lose sight of those sorts of things.
That is absolutely right. And clients really, I was going to say, don't forget about it and don't forget about us. And they know that in challenging times, you can just stop. You need to think strategically and continue business and planning with the new situation and adapting to it.
Well, good advice, Alfonso. I can't wait till I see you again in person, whenever that might be. Till then, thanks for taking time with us and stay healthy, huh?
Thank you, Rodney.